it's kind of wild. Yeah, I know. We didn't get like the Pat McAfee song going in the background. That's pretty cool. But do you ever watch that?
No, not really.
That is, I don't know. Like, now that it's not football season, I don't know what they're all going to talk about. I know that like he was had a lot of I don't know, controversy this last year with the Aaron Rodgers thing. Oh yeah. Yeah. And anyway, so that's one of my favorites to just put on in the background because it's YouTube. Yeah. And it's hilarious to see the difference because at the same time they're broadcasting on YouTube, they're broadcasting on ESPN now for 2 hours. And then after those 2 hours are up, it's just straight YouTube. So then like the language starts flying and everything because, and so it's kind of funny, but
that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Interesting to see like the behind the scenes from a, just a streaming versus a linear and how they do that. But
yeah.
Got a sticker on it still.
What are you drinking?
This is decaf coffee.
Yeah.
And then this.
What do you mean?
And then this.
Decaf coffee.
I mean, it's 8:00 at night. I want to be able to sleep. So
just like the taste of it, huh?
Oh, yeah. I like the taste of creamer. I don't like the taste of coffee.
Oh, you got creamer in there?
Oh, I sugar-free, sweet Italian cream or some sweet Italian sweet cream. It's pretty good. And then this is cherry Kool-Aid, the sugar-free.
Don't do that to
me. So
I showed you that clip, didn't I?
The Bert Kreischer and
yeah. Okay. Don't do the Kool-Aid. You're seriously drinking Kool-Aid?
Oh yeah, it's so good.
You're not just trying to be funny.
No.
You're so dumb. That hurts, man. You drink Kool-Aid a lot.
It's all about the cherry flavor right now. So I do enjoy that. Actually, Rhett started asking for it. The little squeezy bottles that you add to water. Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm going to try that.
It's back, baby.
And you forget how good cherry Kool-Aid is. So
yeah. Kool-Aid's back in the house. Damn, I can't wait till Johnny's asking for Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I gotta get Kleenex here. I'm not really.
You said sugar-free?
Yeah, it's sugar-free. Yep. So little Johnny.
I bet that's a blast.
Dude, I can't taste the difference. I don't know if it's because like I've been doing sugar-free for so long, but it reminds me of real Kool-Aid. So I don't know, man. But
it's all the extra sugar you had in your Kool-Aid prior. It's like evening out where you're like, you're just now tasting what Kool-Aid should taste like.
Yeah, that and sweet tea. I'm like, what's this crappy bitter taste? And they're like, that's tea. And I'm like, oh.
I just like the sugar water.
I cannot do McDonald's. Like, Rhett will get a McDonald's sweet tea every once in a while. Have you ever tried those?
No, but Caitlin's a big fan of. He gets the half and halves. Which, dude, I don't understand it. Like, I think anyone else in the world, you can just call it an Arnold Palmer, and they would kind of understand what's going on. Oh, not McDonald's. It's like a McLemonade tea or McTealade or something. I don't know.
Really? You have to call it that?
Yeah, something like that. And they always screw it up. Like, they don't get the proportions right, or it's like all iced tea.
Yeah.
Something we live with.
Do you, have you ever had a dirty Arnold Palmer or I've heard it called a John Daly?
Huh.
Like, yeah.
Just booze in it?
Booze in it, yeah. There's different recipes out there, so I don't know.
Don't they, it's not like a Long Island iced tea?
Long Island is something that's going to mess you up really bad because it's like a bunch of booze. So, a little different. But.
Yeah, John Daly. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, how are the kids doing?
Good. Yeah. I feel like there was. Oh, I was gonna tell you the story about going into Texas Roadhouse from this week. Yeah. So I'll jump right into that because it's hilarious. So last week, Kayla and I wanted to go to Texas Roadhouse really badly. Like, got off work. I have like a gift card from work ready to go. Like, smash some rolls. So we get off a little bit early and like book it. It's like an hour away to go anywhere where we're at. And Johnny like fell asleep in the back and he never falls asleep. So we're like, what's going on with him? And like, must be a long day of preschool or something. And we're like, okay, well, he'll just be napping in the booth and we'll get our dinner. We had a long day. And so we get there finally. And it's like Wednesday, I think. There's no line. Just sit us right away. So we're like pumped. We're like, Texas Roadhouse, usually it's like an hour wait. We're like in the door, going to sit down. We're pumped. And I had Johnny, I was carrying him. And we're in the middle, and the place is like completely packed. And he rears back. We're in the middle of the whole dining area, rears back and just projectile vomits. It's like directly in my face in the middle of the restaurant. So I like screamed to Caitlin. I think, well, she claims I said, I can't do this or something wimpy. She said, I thought I said, we're out of here, or like, I need help, or I don't know what I said, but
yeah.
So we like take off to the bathroom. It's like a mess, dude. It's disgusting mess. And we're like in the bathroom cleaning out my shirt. Like, it's soaked front and back. And I'm like cleaning out in the sink. Of course, like 20 people walk in while I'm like hand washing our shirts. He's shirtless, standing in front of the toilet. And he's kind of like, he wants me to hold him, but he's got to stand in front of the toilet. So he's looking at me going, ah! And yeah. So like 20 men walk in, see us like just having an issue. A couple of them just turn around, like, not my place. Like, I'll hold it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah. So I get our shirts back on and get us all like good to go. And on the way out, like, tell the janitor guy, like, bathroom's kind of jacked up too. Like, I'm really sorry. And so we go bombing out. Caitlin's at the front door with Cleo. We like don't say a word. We just turn and like we're out of there. And scuffled into the car. Got them all into their seats. We like didn't say a word. We're just in the mode of getting the hell out of here. We sat down in the front seat and then we just started dying laughing. Like, dude, just like that whole like having kids is a freaking roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just, yeah. So
we had a similar situation when Mack was younger. We were volunteering with this, it's called Destination Imagination. And it's some competition stuff where, problem solving. There's, different sets of it. Well, we were volunteering with some of our friends, and they had younger girls who didn't participate in it. They're at the age they could, so they were kind of keeping an eye on Mack. And by keeping an eye on Mack, they were shoving her full of sugar all day. And on the way home, so we were driving home from Ames back to when we lived in Grinnell, and we stopped in Ankeny at a barbecue place, and Mack let all that sugar go. And I'm just,
my God.
I don't handle those situations well. Like, I just start getting hot, and I'm like, okay, So
I think it's normal.
Yeah. So Dani usually handles that stuff way better than I do. Yeah. I'm just like, get me out of here. I don't even want to be a part of this.
You just walk out with your family sitting there. Yeah, like later.
So I'll be in the car.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't get Texas Roadhouse after that big long wait?
No. No, and then we were gonna like order to go, and then we were like embarrassed to be there, to be honestly. True.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting Culver's on the way home, and which was a whole nother hilarious thing because it was still freezing out. It's like 20 degrees, and we roll up to Culver's, and I'm shirtless, and these like high school girls are working. Caitlin's like, I'm like, I can't even explain it to him, can I? I'm like, no, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just a shirtless man driving his family to Culver's. So,
oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Cleo doing good?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's crazy. Like, I don't know, I say advanced, but we're all just biased of our own kids, I think. But as far as like her and Johnny, she's even past like some of his marks of sitting upright, and she crawls like a maniac. Like, remember, like Quentin was really good at crawling or whatever.
Yeah,
I think she would like put him up for a race, man. She's pretty fast.
Yeah.
In this last couple weeks, I've been telling everyone this, but we've been bonding a little bit more, which is kind of cool. Like, I'll keep it real too, because I don't know if it's just me or like most guys experience this, but like the kids, when they were like until like 4 months, I feel like they were just like, "Dad, who? Like, who's this guy?"
You're kind of useless.
Yeah, like I don't know if anyone ever has talked about that, or it's just me, but I'm like, no, it's how it, like, not a big deal, but like it's weird.
Yeah.
Well, so
I was never good at helping. Like, I'm just a bear. Like, I gotta sleep. So
yeah.
And I've told Dani this, and she knew, but like when Mack would start crying, I just pretend I was still sleeping.
Jesus.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like,
yeah.
Don't move, don't blink, nothing. And she's like, I knew your breathing changed, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, and I have pretty bad sleep apnea, so like she's like, you stop breathing like every minute, so it's not like you're breathing,
just breathing normal,
and then now you're just sitting over there like real quiet, not moving, like. So
yeah,
those were wild times. But
yeah, so I'm good. Like, I'm similar. I mean, I just sleep like a rock. I wish I could wake up, but like, I think the fire alarm could go off and I would be like, not even fake sleeping. I just don't think it'd wake me up, which is terrifying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Mack had a dance.
So she had winter formal this weekend. So that kid stays extremely busy. A honor roll has been every period so far. But on top of school, she's every day of the week got something. It's either weightlifting, work, and some nights work and practice or hitting lessons, and so we get to that. But she had formal on Saturday. She went with her boyfriend, Troy. Troy, he's a good guy. We like Troy.
Yeah, he was looking dapper.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Very, very respectful. His parents. Oh, little. I don't know if you know this, but you remember Damian York? I probably should have said the last name there, but you remember Damian? Let me edit that out. So let me hit a clip here so I know where to go back to fix that. But so Damien knows his parents, and so yeah, it's kind of a cool little deal when Damien reached out and he's like, "Hey, I noticed this," and that, I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "They're pretty cool," and I'm like, "I hope you said the same about us. I feel like we were pretty cool," but no, he did.
Not to, we'll come back to that, but side note, well, gosh, we can't say last names, but a coach that we used to have at New Sharon, Andy. Yeah, he is friends with Coach Davis, which was my D-line coach.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, they posted a picture on Facebook the other day, and same thing. Like Damien was probably like, "Oh, I know that person," but
yeah,
I was like, "How does he know Coach Davis?"
Yeah,
and then I was like, "Well, Coach Davis knows everyone. This guy is like a legend." So I'm like, "Okay, it kind of makes sense." But then it's like, did they ever talk about me? Like, did he know more about me than I knew?
Yeah,
because Coach Davis is that kind of guy. Like, he knows everyone. He probably called everyone's head coach to talk to him or something. Like, I don't know. It's kind of weirded me out a little bit. Not in a bad way. Just like
that Kool-Aid, man, that hits hard.
Sugar-free Kool-Aid.
But yeah, that's a small world. Like, you know how many people you kind of run into, and you're like, oh, that's cool. So, but yeah,
that's why you should treat everyone with respect and your best self, because that'll come back around.
I like the quote or meme or whatever. I guess they're memes now. But you treat the janitor like the CEO.
No, yeah,
that's always a good one. I like that one. But
yeah, I always felt that it was super important. Yeah. Well, obviously, coming from where we come, it's like, special love for the janitor.
Yeah. Speaking of special love for the janitor, do you remember Roy?
Oh yeah.
Did he write poems for the football team for you guys? Or was he kind of out of that situation?
I think he was retiring before then, but I had the pleasure of working with when I was in 7th grade. I got a janitor job for the summer.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
And it was just like me and Roy.
He's such an awesome guy.
Yeah, he was hilarious. Actually, I think I might have pissed him off once, actually, but
I can't imagine he'd be that mad.
Remember it. I don't know. It's probably dicking around. I don't know.
Yeah, it's par for the course.
Yeah, 7th grader.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was awesome other than that, though.
So he would write a poem for us, like, for every week of the football season, and it'd be in the locker room. It was pretty cool. So that was always awesome. But sorry you missed out on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also had so Saturday was busy for us because we also had Rhett's basketball game. So Rhett only he doesn't want to play baseball. So I don't know if we've been at the softball fields way too much, and now he's like, I don't really enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
But basketball and golf, that's all he wants to do. So we'll let him roll with it.
Yeah.
Have some fun with it. But
what about like band and choir? Is he into that?
So the dude can sing. He's a good singer. He's very self-conscious, and so I don't think he'll do singing. We did try. He got a guitar for Christmas a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And we were taking lessons, and he wouldn't work on it at home. So, I mean, after the 4th time of doing the same lesson over and over, we're like, okay, we're probably not going to do this until you're ready. And, but piano, he does play. Okay, when I say plays piano, he plays the Michael Myers theme song. Like, that's all he wanted to learn. So he can play the Michael Myers theme song, and it sounds pretty good. But like,
because of Fortnite,
probably.
I know. So
he's never watched it.
Yeah, it's a skin in there, so he's about it.
Yeah,
I love that.
Those skins, man. So I asked him, I'm like, you probably have like 100 skins. We've wasted so much money on that, and he's like, I don't have 100 skins. And I'm like, well, how much do you have? Thinking like 75. He's like, I have like 147. And I'm like, okay, we're no more V-Bucks. Like that's over. That is no longer a thing. So anyway.
This is like just going down a rabbit hole, but Fortnite, the game actually had like button traps for kids to get stuck in. So they get stuck into buying stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a big lawsuit where I think I told Dani when it happened, or I thought I told Dani, but basically it's like easy to get into the store with like the normal buttons, and then to get out, it's like a RB or a trigger or something that they wouldn't be good at getting out with.
Yeah.
So they get kind of confused, and then kind of weird.
Yeah, he's kind of on board with that. We explained that spending a little bit of money now
mm-hmm.
and not saving it keeps you from getting those bigger things that you want. Hopefully small lessons, but you can't expect a 9-year-old to necessarily.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna teach them about compound interest and what that $10 would be in age 65 years.
Like retire or save early.
Yeah.
Save early.
Gotta live a little.
But, yeah, that's true. So anyway, topic this week. Let's talk about our wives. You want to talk about our wives?
Which one?
We got.
I'm dead, man. I'm a dead man. I was just kidding.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We know. So Valentine's Day coming up in a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have plans? Did you make reservations for anywhere?
God, put me on the spot. Yeah, of course. Of course.
You're running a little late now. Hey, just so you know, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't.
We might hit
keep it
we might hit the Mexican restaurant maybe. That's kind of our go-to, tacos. So
yeah, dude, I'm the worst at planning anyway, so it's probably best I didn't.
And Caitlin is master planner. Yeah.
We had kind of a heavy January, like her birthdays, and I say her birthdays, we literally went out to eat like multiple times
for her birthday. I saw the cake. So
yeah, well, and that was just this last weekend, which was like homemade ravioli and like not even out to eat. So, but we have so much family around that we have to kind of break up the different weekends. So we went to Kobe. It's like a hibachi steakhouse. And we went to like a sushi place. And so we're kind of like tapped out on the eating out money.
Yeah. But time to rein it in.
Yeah. But so I did get her, they'll deliver it to the house on Valentine's Day. It's just a local coffee shop we support. And they did cup of coffee and chocolate covered strawberries and flowers. They did like a little save your husband the thinking, just give us the money and we'll do it all.
Yeah. Those are always nice.
Took it. Yeah.
Well, you can't screw that up.
Yeah, and then supporting local, like, dude, it's a win all around.
For sure. So we're going to talk about our wives, Dani and Caitlin. Let's go through how you guys met and kind of first dates and, how you became a couple. That's what I want to know. Okay. I want to hear the story.
All right. Well, first of all, we met on Tinder, which is, you say that and you're like, it's actually kind of funny. I don't know if it's Tinder or Bumble, one of the two dating things, but as as many people know, it's kind of bachelor life, like kind of just doing my own thing. Honestly, was kind of set that I was like, I may never like do the family thing, which is kind of weird to say now, but at the time I met her, I think I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done. Maybe I just thought that, but I was like, I'm kind of done dating and, well, not dating, but being serious about it all. So anyways, we met on there, and it's kind of funny. She has probably a different story, which is, she got to make herself look good. I got to make myself look good.
So one of these days we'll have to have her on to explain her side of the story.
So basically conversation, it was a little back and forth on there, and it was like hot garbage. Conversation was so bad. it's just one of those like, hey, how are you? Oh, how are you? And it's probably me having no game, but eventually I was trying a little bit and she wasn't reciprocating that or like saying much. And I just called her out. I was like, conversation sucks. Like, basically, it's just like, I'm just going to throw it out there. And I don't even know how I recovered from that or how it recovered from that. But essentially, it was like, well, why don't we just meet in person and maybe it'll be better. I don't know where the thought was, but I think she'll say that I never let her, I wouldn't leave her alone. I kept bothering her, which whatever. Maybe I did.
Yeah. You had to wear her down a little bit,
Yeah. But again, I felt like I wasn't like looking for anything. So I'm like, I don't know if I did that, but
yeah.
So anyways, she was a waitress at this Embassy Club in Des Moines, real nice private restaurant or something like that. And her and the chefs were going out for drinks. And so I text her like, oh, I can be in the area. We can grab a quick drink, which is also something we laugh about because my go-to obviously in dating world is like, you want to grab dinner. And then that stuff just got a little expensive after so many dates that you're like, I can do a drink, So I gave her the lesser option of grabbing a drink.
Wow.
And I know. So we met at Shotgun Betty's, which is like a country bar in West Des Moines. And her like coworkers were the bar over at Tonic. And they were like older gentlemen that were chefs. And they were kind of like brothers to her. So like they were there to make sure I wasn't weird and like they were kind of watching over her, which is cool. But so she came in and when I saw her, obviously I was like, oh, dang, she's a smoke show. I think she was wearing like like a sweatshirt with holes in it probably. And I was like, oh yeah, like she's looking nice. And we had a drink and started talking and like I think just hours. Like honestly, if it was a movie, it would just be like hours cycling by as we're just sitting there like laughing and having drinks. And we were at the bar, like bellied up. And a couple hours goes by and she's like, I got to check in with those guys. They're probably going to think I'm murdered or something. So she goes over there and I might have went with her and she like introduced me honestly. And I think they were like, oh, this is going well then. Like she's good. So we went back and sat at a table and it was like, I mean, we just talked and I think we even danced a little bit. I used to dance quite a bit.
So clearly you didn't have those Unabomber eyeglasses at that point, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay, I was gonna say there's no way way she would have saw you and been like ducking out the back.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is like, so I was working out really hard at the time. I was like down to my high school weight of like 212. So I'm like, honestly, really not the person I've been for the longest time, just as far as like physical look. Which is funny because she actually, well, she says she prefers, a big husky daddy, but but I'm like,
she's saying now, like, you're like, that's hard work to get back down to that 212.
Well, I know. She's like, yeah, but I'd rather you be as big as you are now. It's just like a comfort thing. And I'm like, okay. But I was, running like 6 miles a day, if not more, and like doing the boxing thing. And so I was like tiny, I guess. Well, you say 212 is tiny, but I was tiny for the time.
For years,
Yeah. So, anyways, the night goes by and, I mean, we were definitely sober and all that. So I was like, I'll take her home. So I drove her to the apartment she was staying at or where her car was. And then, I'm pretty sure when I dropped her off, I like went in for the kiss and she just denied the hell out of me. And I think that's at that point too, I was like, oh, dang, I'm hooked in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I guess there's something about that first date not getting the kiss that you're just like, I gotta come back to that.
Yeah.
Funny. So, yeah. So that's first night, first date. Dude, honestly, the rest is a little bit of a blur because it was like, I mean, hot and heavy. Like, you know, we were just basically like, yeah, we're probably going to get married. And like, I think obviously a lot of people thought that was weird. Even I did, you know, obviously I was like, whoa, like it's going pretty fast. You know, I was thinking about buying a house. Now I got to like consider her in that equation and like, but we went with it. I didn't hold too much back on it, and it felt normal. We spent almost every day. I mean, she lived in Ames, and I lived in Indianola, and that was like a hell of a trek. But we'd do it almost every night just to hang out after work, and just silly, stupid, like.
I understand.
Yeah, and then you know. I guess you like a couple dates in between there. I don't really recall when she met the family.
So
softball game.
I met. You want to hit? So my story on how I met Caitlin.
Yeah.
So we were playing softball in Ankeny, and we were probably 10U at the time. Yeah, because we were still the Grinnell team. So Mack was actually 9, I believe. We were in a rain delay, and we go out to the car, and then this little black car pulls up, and you get out,
Gray car.
She gets
maybe
it was black. It was black.
Yeah,
it was a dark colored car. But I remember looking and never met her, didn't know anything about her. And you guys get out, and your face is, puffy, and because you just had the softball accent.
Part of the story, yeah.
Yeah, well,
okay, that.
And I remember thinking, like, because I'm looking at the front of the car, and there's like, the fender is like taped together, front end's little, and so I'm looking at the plates.
Gray. Yeah.
Okay. And then it might have been dark gray. It's a dark color.
Yeah.
And then I look at the plates, and I'm like, Harrison County. I have no idea where that's at. But I'm like, what did you do, John? Did you guys get in an accident? Like, because I didn't really talk much about the softball thing that much at that point. But
yeah.
And then she hops out, and you're like unathletic self. So
yeah. So backstory to the face. I actually forgot about that, which is one of the best stories. So we had met and obviously like hit it hard, like I said, and like that next weekend or a couple weekends later, Andrew, you might know the last name, wanted me to play softball with him and a bunch of like D players, I guess, are pretty good slow pitch softball players. And he's like vouching for me. He's like, nah, this guy's the best outfielder I've ever seen. Like, and I was pretty good at the time. Like I was in good shape. Like, I didn't let balls drop. Like, so I'm like, all right, I got a lot to prove. But I was down to like 210, 212, and I've been losing all this weight. And I forgot my glove when I showed up, and and Caitlin was with me, so I like told her like, hey, this competitive softball game, you want to come watch me like, ball out.
Yeah.
Like show off in front of her.
It would be a dude.
Yeah, you're gonna see me do some cool stuff. I'll probably hit a home run, whatever, not a big deal. I'll sign it for you. No, I didn't say all that, but basically we get there, I forget my glove. This guy gives me this like ancient like Babe Ruth catcher mitt. He's like, it barely went past my fingertips, and I gotta go play left field. And I'd struck out actually. I struck out twice that day, and I hadn't had anything. Yeah, dude, talk about extreme embarrassment. Yeah. I swear it had something to do with the weight loss and like my balance and all. Like I don't know what was going on, but 2 strikeouts. My ego's already like in the hole. These guys think I'm just a waste of time. and now I'm in left field, and this freaking absolute laser comes out to me, and I let it drop on the ground, and then I crow hopped it or whatever and got it in. And I was kind of like this pressure of like, why'd you let that drop? Like, you could have easily caught that, right? Well, sure enough, the next batter, the same exact hit on an absolute rope. I go sprinting in, and I'm like, obviously I'm not going to let it drop again. And as fast as I could sprint into it, I put my glove down. I feel like I kind of dove. I had to get a little low, and it just went right over my glove, shattered my face. So it hit me, knocked me out, and I've never been knocked out in all my time of like concussion football and all that. Like, and I still argued that I wasn't knocked out, but Caitlin says I was. I kind of believe her. Like,
yeah,
there was a moment there I was laying there, which in my head I was just like, yeah, obviously my face hurts, so I don't want to move. But to her, it was like, no, you went limp. You were snoozing for a while. Yeah. So yeah, they come out. Caitlin gets me. Or like, we're going to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then like I thought I was just gonna like wear that and be okay, because I haven't broken many bones, but
yeah.
So we go to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, you have like a clear break across like your upper cheekbone, like holds your skull together or something, like right into your nose. It's just clear break.
Yeah.
And yeah, those pictures are crazy. But yeah, so that's her recollection on like me and my athletic career. So she has, that
so I love that she thinks you're absolutely not athletic at all.
Yeah.
And because that's the only thing she can correlate back to, because you don't play football anymore. You don't play softball anymore.
Yeah.
So you are
yeah, and like too, in your injury, it just like changed your life. Like I'm like the most conservative person, like any kind of risk, I'm like, nah. Like,
I now have a 50% rule. One of my friends was telling me about this. He's like, I don't give more than 50%. He's like, I'm not winning anything. What does it matter? So now when I feel myself getting a little carried away with the competitiveness, I'm like, nope, 50%, not hurting myself today. So that's kind of how we do that now.
Yeah, it's a good rule.
Yeah. The only time it's acceptable to give 50%. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's that story. And then the parking lot with the car was when we met Caitlin. Yep. And then we had this thing where like you had dated some girls and you'd bring them around and we'd always be like, oh yeah, we like her a lot. And as soon as we said that, they were gone. Like, it was like, okay, so that was the kiss of death. And then so when you brought Caitlin around and you're kind of talking to us when she wasn't there, we're just like, yeah, she's all right. Yep. And then you went and told her that we didn't like her.
No.
And so she's like,
I did not.
I don't know how that's the whole backstory, but we had to clarify. No, there's a reason we weren't all like, oh, we like Caitlin, because if we did, you guys, you never would have got married. Never.
I know.
So, but yeah,
that's all that matters. We don't have to get into semantics.
Okay.
The only thing that matters is that we're together, happily ever after.
And you're completely unathletic, which blows my mind.
Yeah. So, so I guess you could say that's the intro of how we met. I don't know if there's anything more about the intro other than, I guess I'll add that, we, like I said, I was going to buy a house, and I was kind of like, how does this fit into that? Like, that's going to be my space. Yeah. Her lease was coming up. So it was honestly like, okay, I just met someone that I feel like I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, but I also am buying a house and that's my space. But she ain't going to have a place to live.
Yeah.
Her lease is up. So I was like, the writing's on the wall. She's moving in.
Yeah. And that happened really quick, right? Like, that was real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like we met, and she'll correct me on this later, but like April. And then I was buying a house by July.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we actually, I don't know if I even told you this, but we broke up for a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You told me a little bit because you're in panic mode or something.
Yeah. And it was like nothing about like, do I want to spend forever with her? Well, I guess it was that. It was that. And like, this is such a big decision that I need some space from it. And so I told her, need a little space. I don't know if we're like officially like, oh, we're breaking up, but need some space to think about this all, especially you moving in. And the coolest thing she ever did was just like, she was chill as hell about it.
Yeah.
And like, I think not every person that I dated before, but even myself included, before I kind of matured in relationships, was like, no, why? Or like, stay with me. That whole like just immaturity.
Yeah.
And so I hit her with that, just needed the time. And she's like, totally makes sense. Like, I'll be here when you're ready to talk about it. And I think that sealed the deal. Honestly, I was like, this is pretty mature.
Yeah.
Just emotionally. Like,
and then you guys were in that first house on Guthrie. And my favorite story about that is, so she had cut her hair really short, and you were telling me she was out cutting like the hedges or the bushes on the on the west side of the house, and the old man next door was like
97 years old.
Yeah, that boy took a lot of those bushes out. So
my God, he's like, yeah, that was hilarious.
So
it's hard to find help like that. He did a hell of a job.
Yeah,
that little boy was out there. It was just Caitlin with her short hair.
Yeah, that's awesome. We love her. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then the rest is history from there. Kind of. I mean,
yeah.
Not that it gets boring, but that's kind of the intro.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. So talking just a little bit about that. What do you want to hit on next?
Well, are you going to talk about meeting Dani?
Yeah, I can talk about meeting Dani.
Are we all lopsided, like weird breaks, not finishing the stories?
Dude, we're going to be all over the place, so who cares?
All right, I love it.
Who cares? So yeah, I'll go ahead and so this one, like this takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Because
it's 8th grade.
8th grade, Mr. Fred's math class. First day of school, first day of North Mahaska. Walked in, sat in a chair. Somebody came up to me late, like before class started, like, hey, can I sit there? My friend's sitting here. And I'm like, I don't know anybody. Who cares? So I get up and move over to and I sit behind, and there's only like 32 kids in a class there. So
yeah,
you're the new kid. That's how it's going to be. And I ended up sitting in the back row behind Dani, and she turned around and she's like, I like your shirt. And
you even said it kind of like she would have. I like your shirt. Just all peppy.
And I just like, I don't know, knew she was special then, but so I don't know. We were pretty good friends for the most part through high school. Talked a lot. I think there was one period where we didn't really talk that much. I had a girlfriend that didn't like that we talked so much. So kind of backed off of that for a little bit, but I mean, that's high school stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, we never dated in middle school, junior high, high school. Talked a lot, and then
Was
senior
she?
class trip. Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Was she like? She knew you were new, so was
Mm-hmm.
she like a friend of yours when you were? Like she said, nice shirt, but then was she just cool with you after that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just she's genuinely like one of the nicest people ever.
Yeah,
So we just kind of have I don't know, good relationship from that. But
yeah.
she's just a nice person, treats everybody great. Um, but senior class trip, obviously senior year, like we hadn't dated, and never, I always liked her. I would have, you know, probably would have dated her. Good thing we didn't because I was an idiot. So would have
Yeah.
ruined that pretty quick.
Yeah.
But senior class trip, I was kind of talking to her a little bit, but she had already kind of been talking to somebody. So when I asked if she wanted to go on a date or whatever, she said she denied me. Killed it. No, so no big deal. I was, that was, I don't know when senior class trip is. It doesn't seem like is toward the ends of the school year or something like that. But
Yeah, I thought it was outside of school. Am I
I don't even
making that
remember.
up? May term
I
or whatever.
I don't remember. But
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, you know what? Gave it a shot. I'm heading off to college.
Yeah.
So be it. And so she went down to Springfield, Missouri, and then I went to Kirkwood and Cedar Rapids, and didn't really, we never really talked. Didn't communicate ever. I actually had a girlfriend in college. I don't know if you remember Jenny,
Mm-hmm.
but super sweet girl. And like honestly, if Danny's one, she was like 1B. Like that's how awesome she was. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually think Danny and her would have been really good friends, which is kind of weird to say, I guess, now that I said that out loud. But like they're just very similar people, very similar,
Yeah.
and very nice. And so anyway, I was dating her, working at UPS, going to
Eating Paul
school, doing all that,
Revere's.
eating Paul Revere's 20-inch Terminators.
That's all I
We got to be
remember.
careful with some of those stories. But anyway, I was playing NCAA football with my roommates, Brandon and Nick, and I had a text and said, "Hey, this is Danny. How's it going?" So we started talking and texting a lot after that. But
On your Nokia brick.
I think I had a Kyocera slider at that point because
Sweet.
I was downloading ringtones that didn't sound like the music.
Yeah.
So it's like $5 for this digitalized version of "When I Come Around" by Green Day. So anyway, it kind of got to a point where I'm talking to her a lot, and I'm like, this isn't really fair to Jenny.
Yeah.
And not that Danny and I were talking about dating or anything, but like I kind of felt like I screwed that up at one time, and
Mm-hmm.
that's I really liked her, so I just told Jenny like, hey, like we can't date it, like, and just kind of told her, and obviously she was upset, but she wasn't like tearing stuff apart and popping my car tires or anything like that. So
Yeah.
anyway,
She
I'm
was
just like,
like,
hey,
I was
there's
just about to break up with this guy. This is awesome.
yeah, this works out perfect. He's a loser. Give me my guitar back. So,
Jenny
but
had a
no,
guitar?
she's yeah.
Or is this a Forrest Gump reference?
No, that was Jenny had a guitar.
Are you Forrest Gump?
That's what. So I just felt like running.
Wow.
So anyway, I just had the conversation like, hey, like, I don't know what to tell you. I hate to be this guy, but so that was kind of the conversation. And anyway, so talked more with Danny, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go down to Springfield. So I drove down to Springfield one weekend, and it was met some of her friends, that kind of thing, and then I realized it's kind of weird. Like this dude
Yeah, it
was
was
always there, always around, and it wasn't. They weren't necessarily like they weren't dating, but they were friends or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, well, I just screwed this all up. Like, I just came down here, found out what I didn't want to find out.
Dang.
Broke up with Jenny, who was, like 1B, like she's fantastic. So I'm just like, oh, I screwed that up. So came back to.
Well, I have to know, like, the texting, was it like as friends, or you were playing a little game? Like, you were slinging a little, like, you're a flirty dude. You're a flirty dude.
I have zero game. Like, absolutely none.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I batted 1,000 in college because I asked Jenny. And then that was it. So anyway,
so you're going down there as friends. You're just like
100% friends. It wasn't
okay.
Like, did I want to date her? Absolutely. Was I gonna, like, maybe someday? But it would never work. She's 600 miles away. Whatever. It would never work.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking, and it just as friends, like, we picked back up from high school again, right? Like, just having conversations. Yeah. And then she and a friend came up. We went to a Colonel's baseball game there in Cedar Rapids, hung out, and then they went home. And then I actually came up one more time before the end of the school year and just visited. And like, I'm like, all right, this is it. My zero game having rear end is so I like throw out everything. I'm like, I already missed out on this once. So we're driving. I'm telling her exactly how I feel, everything. And I'm like, gosh, I'm such an idiot. Like, I should have just not said anything. And anyway, she doesn't she's not reciprocating anything. So I'm just like, hey, I took my shot once, missed. Yeah. Second time, it's all right. Just let it happen. So anyway, but we still stayed friends after that, right? Like, we still talked, all that stuff. And then in the summer, she moved back from Springfield, right? Summer break. Well, I had a job at UPS, and I was working in a warehouse during the day. So I go to work at 7, get off at 3:30, and then go to my other job at 4:30 till 9. I do that Monday through Friday. And then Friday night, I'm making a beeline to New Sharon, and we're hanging out until Sunday night, like, just hung out the whole weekend. And then, I don't know, it just progressed, like, just that friendship. And then we, I guess, official that summer. And then that's how we started dating. But
well, then so did you both went to UNI, right? Was that like the next?
Yeah, so I went to Kirkwood, graduated there, and then so I was going to UNI. So she was like, well, I'm going to transfer to UNI. We actually looked at so there's a couple of options we had. Missouri State, I was going to go there. I had a professor at Kirkwood that was really disappointed that I didn't end up going to Mizzou. She wanted me to be a journalist, and I'm like, I really got into writing when I was in college. I liked it a lot better. But that didn't really pan out. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to UNI. And then Danny's like, I'll go too. So we spent a year apart. So like after that freshman year, we started dating that summer. And then I was at Kirkwood sophomore year. She was down in Springfield for sophomore year. And I never thought, or I would have, like I had just said, it never would have worked, like long distance like that. And so what am I thinking? But that was, I don't know if it could have went any smoother. Like, I don't know if you remember, you had to wait until like 9 o'clock to get free minutes on your phone. Yeah. So I go to class and do the thing, and then I go to UPS and work till 9 at night, and then that's all opened up. Hours. And you just burn up those phones, and
oh my god.
So it just, yeah. And I, when I said I, kind of was like, hey, this is it on that when we were in the car, I'm like, I'm not messing around. I'm not like, hey, I'm just dating to waste your time. Like, you are somebody I have, felt really good about since the day I met you. So like, it's not like I didn't know her. So that's kind of how that went. But dang. Yeah, UNI. Yeah, you and I, so I had a dorm and she was in an all girls dorm room for a while. That was kind of weird. But yeah, you and I was great. We got married after junior year. We
Which
had
is crazy. To get
when
married
you
in
think about
college?
it, do
What are
you
you
know how many people
What are
like
you
I had
doing?
in New Sharon, like
Yeah.
some of my friends' moms, like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And like, well, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Can't blame him now though, looking back.
Oh, I know. Oh, absolutely not. Like, if
Yeah.
like, you dumb kids, and then it
Yeah.
works out. But
That's
so
crazy.
got married. We lived in south side of Waterloo near Washburn. And while we were in Waterloo, I worked, or Cedar Falls, I worked for a guy named Mark, and he had 3 girls. So sometimes it felt like I got to be the son he didn't have,
Yeah.
because he'd invite us over and stuff, um, and I'd work for him. And I remember him being like, "What do you do on Wednesday nights?" And I'm like, "Well, I work for you, Mark." And he goes, "We'll start showing up at the bowling alley." So their bowling team was short a guy, and so I got to go and bowl on their team, and they taught me how to bowl and everything because they got pissed at me only getting like 80 pins a game. Uh, so,
You still
yeah,
talk to that
and
dude?
no, I thought about it. Like, should I reach out? But he's I liked him quite a bit. He we were at the bowling alley. He's like, "You want a beer?" I'm like, "Mark, I'm not even 21." Like, we got married when we were 20, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Mark, I'm not even 21." He's like, "Nobody's going to question it if you're with me." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, so like, I don't drink, but
Yeah.
I'm such a boring person. But anyway, yeah. And then Matt came. So
Yep.
Dani was pregnant senior year. So I'm
Wow. I kind of forgot
when
all
you think
that,
about
the
it,
timing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
wild.
yeah, we I love history. Like, so a lot of my extra, my gen ed stuff that you can just kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I did a lot of history classes,
Yeah.
and we did a humanities class, and Dani had to take it, and I didn't have to take it, but I needed to just the credits, right? So I take it with her, and so we're going to class, and the other idea was saves money. We don't have to buy 2 sets of books. Like, we're just gonna.
Yeah.
So in our infinite wisdom, and I worked like 70 hours a week between Mark's place and then the police department in town.
Yeah.
So like, I was working quite a bit overnights and stuff. But I procrastinate everything. Well, I procrastinated this assignment, and so did Dani. So we're supposed to read this book, and neither of us read it. It's the night before. So I'm like, why don't you go ahead and, read it, and you write your paper on, and she gets done. And so I look at the book, and it's a short read. Like, it'd probably take a couple hours. I mean, it's, decent, but I just kind of flipping through it. And then I notice on the top, the stars on the top of the pages are moving, and the moon is moving as well. And I was like, screw it. Hail Mary this baby. So I just wrote my paper about that. So I got 100% on the paper. Dani read the book and wrote her paper, and she got like a B on it. She was so pissed.
No way.
Yeah, she was very upset. So anyway, we had been going to this class, and then we come up on the first test, and there's a pre-test day. And so we went over the test, like, verbatim. Like,
yeah.
We quit going to class until it was pre-test day. Like, because, they follow the syllabus,
Oh, yeah.
So I got 100% in the class. And then it comes to the final. Actually, I didn't get 100% the easy way.
Yeah.
If you got to the final and you had, whatever, you could take it for extra credit, right? Like, it wasn't something that was required. I'm like, this is the craziest class ever.
Yeah.
We had missed a test.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we had missed a test. And so we go into that final. And I don't know, I was working 70 hours. She was working. She's pregnant. She's going to, got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then we go in, and that teacher was like, I noticed we got a couple of idiots that didn't show up to some, and like, it was us. Like, and she's like, they didn't even come talk to me. We could have worked something out. And I'm like, dude, I'm not about, like, if I screw up, that's on me. I'm not going to ask for bailouts, that kind. And so anyway, so I took that final for extra credit and got 100% anyways. So
nice.
Yeah. So that was I'm going to say easiest class. Dani would probably, she hated history classes. So it was wild class, but yeah. So
then Mack was here. I remember that day actually being a senior. I came up.
Be like, I get to get out of school.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was like, I was pumped about it.
Oh yeah.
But then, well, when you look at the pictures, I'm like, such a doucher. I didn't even care. Like, she was there, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That now as a father, you look back and you're like, okay,
that's
like
wild.
Precious life. Brother's having a big day, and I was just like, I got my iPod and I'm just ready to go home now. A lot of that was Dani's fault. She took way too long.
Oh, she took way too long.
We were there forever, weren't we?
So Mack she was overdue, and then they were so they induced her because of her blood pressure was getting high.
Oh God.
So like I'm in like full on panic mode, right? Like,
yeah.
So I got that Mustang and I'm whipping through the gears, and Dani's like, you don't have to, this is all scheduled. You don't have to be whipping. I'm like, well, you are robbing me of a moment here. So
oh my God.
We so go in there, and so we did Dani chose a midwife versus a traditional doctor.
Yeah.
So
we did that the second time.
Pretty cool, right? Like that's
yeah,
that was awesome. So we had the two midwives we had, they were fantastic. I don't remember their names, but like Dani taking forever, like Dani does sometimes. And no, the Olympics were on, and synchronized diving was on. Like, I have any clue about synchronized diving in general, but me and the midwife, we're sitting there watching it, in between her groans and like,
oh my gosh,
and we're like, oh, that was really good. That was really good, And so I'm sure Dani was ready to kill me, but
yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you got to deliver Johnny or Cleo.
No, no, not at all. So they're like, do you want to cut it and everything? I'm like, I'm paying you guys to do this. Like, I'm out.
So I'm watching, like, kind of in the corner, like, some crazy stuff happening here. And this is, like, I'm not going to get into too much of the visuals.
Let's not.
But, I'm like, and then they just, like, ushered me over there. They're like, come here. And then, I got you see the crowning, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, Dani, sorry, you're just going to, the story's coming out. But so, like, crowning, and then all of a sudden Dani starts throwing up.
Oh, wow.
Well, when you start throwing up, like, what happens? Your body clenches.
Pulls back or whatever.
No, she started, like, flying out, and I am like, ah.
Oh,
like,
wow.
So they come over and rush real quick and grab her, because I'm going to let her fall on the floor, because I don't know what's happening, and I'm scared.
You're like quarterbacking this thing?
Oh, I'm quarterbacking this thing.
Dude,
I'm supposed to be
I can't believe you did that.
I didn't, because I panicked. Like, I'm like, so I did get to cut the cord, though. That was pretty cool.
That's disgusting.
Disgusting. Like, no, you know what did I always think about?
Are you thinking I miss a moment?
No, I always think of, like, when, and that's cool. I'll tell you a little bit about it, though. And the reason it was stuck in my head, like, I hope I get to do that.
Yeah.
Is because Dad always told Freedom he made her belly button. Who made your belly button? So that's cool. I think that's awesome.
Okay.
But that is, like, the gristly. Like, I got these scissors, and I'm like.
That was my biggest fear.
They were gristly, man.
Yeah.
That cord, holy cow, that was tough to get through.
See, I'm glad I didn't. Because that was like a texture thing in my head. I was like, no way. If it cut like a Twizzler, I'm in. But I'm trying to cut an extension cord with dull scissors. No way. I don't want to be a part of that.
I don't even know if they were dull. I think that was just how tough that was. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And I think, if I remember right, I did that with Rhett too. But Rhett was in Grinnell. Dr. Dalby Albright. So he gave Rhett a shirt, like a baby shirt.
Yeah.
So he was big. He was a big old fat fatty. But it said, Dr. Dalby Albright gave me my first hug. It was pretty cute.
That's cute.
We have the best family doctor ever.
You still go home?
Oh yeah, he's my doctor. He's the kids' doctor, and then the person he partners with, they're pretty awesome. So
nice.
But yeah, those kids. Then we got scared. I got scared, and we moved back to New Sharon. So
yeah, of course.
Holy crap! I have a kid. I have a kid. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm stupid. What is happening here? So we moved back to New Sharon, and man.
Yeah, and you were just a baby, 24?
Oh, no, I was 22.
No? 20.
I was 22.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what my favorite is? Brock telling me, because you guys were seniors, and I went and played video games with you one night, and Brock's like, man, you're 22, and you're married, and you have a kid? Your life is over. He said that to me, and he goes, but don't worry, I understand. I have a puppy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that is awesome.
That's so funny.
So, yeah. I'm like, holy crap, I'm 22. I'm married and I have a kid. My life is over.
Yeah. It just began.
Who would have thought you just getting started on some crazy times. But
yeah.
But
well,
yeah.
I think that's a good introduction into the ladies in our lives that we love so much.
Yeah.
Valentine's special, is that what you're kind of labeling this?
Yeah, what do you want to label this? We can
Valentine's special. I don't.
How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah, that's perfect actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that was I don't know how you nailed that right off. Boom. Were you thinking about that the other day or what?
No, I just thought about it.
Spot on. How I Met Your Mother. Episode 2.
Episode 2. Season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, we hit our goal. We set about an hour, so we're at 108. So, kind of keeping it under that 115 mark.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Anything over that's a little long.
Yep. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you did watch, we'll see you next week.
Bye, Aunt Ruth.
Bye.